Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the live stream here at Joe Daddy's Garage. It is Thursday, July 15th, 2021, and I'm trying to get stuff done in the shop. So I'm doing a live stream today. I do them on Mondays and Thursdays, typically, although I'm debating on whether I'm going to keep doing the Thursday live stream. I'm not sure just yet. The number count keeps dropping down and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's the summer, everybody's doing things and staying busy and whatever, or what. I know in the cooler months, winter months, the numbers seem to be higher. So just trying to justify whether, it's worth it for everybody. Anyway, if you're new to the stream, we tend to talk about classic cars and maybe movies and maybe food and who knows what we may come up with. But, this is done at 3 o'clock on Thursdays, so that people in different countries can join us if they like. And that tends to work out pretty good, I think. So we end up getting somebody like here. We have Greg checking in from Australia, Greg's Workshop. So I'm glad you're here, Greg. As you can see, the car is still in progress or process or progress, whatever. And it's coming along, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, if you have a question you want to present to the group, by all means, ask the question. We'll try to answer those questions. If I can answer them, great. If not, there's a group of people over there in the chat box that can typically do a pretty good job and probably know a lot more than I do when it comes to all these pieces and parts and stuff. So if somebody gets a good answer, they get a bell, even if it's me. Anyway, that's kind of the ground rules of what we're doing. Let me see who's here today. Brian Bergman, I'm a bit early. Hope you're all doing well and living large. Yes. Rick Stevenson, I already mentioned Greg, so Greg was here too. Rick Stevenson probably won't make it to the live stream today. Got to work. I hope that everyone has a great weekend. Well, I hope you have a good weekend as well. Brian, stripped and setting on a body cart. Do you think I need bracing before cutting? It's the section where the shifter mounts, is what he's saying. No. Everybody worries about bracing, and I get that. There's value in bracing stuff. Typically, though, these cars, they're a box perimeter in a sense. So your rocker panels, your A pillar, B pillar, and window opening, and roof line, and all that stuff creates that box. To me, anything that's inside the box, the floor pan, the dash, anything that's not affecting the structure of the box is not gonna, make any difference. So if you're got it up on a dolly, I don't see any issue at all. I've done plenty. In fact, I've actually done. I did a car at the body shop years ago. It was a '65 coupe, and let me tell you, that car was in pieces. I didn't do any videos on that car, but I did so many repairs on that car with the engine and transmission still in the car, drive shaft, everything, never took any of that out. And when I say I did extensive repairs, I cut out both floor pans. I didn't take out the full cowl. I cut the cowl outside of the vent areas and just did the repair pieces on the sides. The kick panel, part of the firewall, all that stuff was cut out while it was sitting on jack stands. With the engine and transmission in the car. I even did the frame rail, not the full frame rails. I did the front section of the frame rails on both sides. So you can do a lot to these cars, especially if they're gutted. If everything's out of it, really not that big a concern. Let's see, Crash Rider. Good afternoon, everyone. Looking forward to the update on Jade and more wit and wisdom from Joe Daddy. Be sure to hit the like button. Yes, by all means, hit the like button. We currently have 20 people. I don't know if you can see that or not. 20 people watching. Participating. Okay, so we answered that. Don Thompson. Hello, everyone. Just about to cut out Betsy's floor. Don, have you posted stuff to the new YouTube channel yet? I've been telling people about it, and I don't know. I haven't looked at it to see if you've actually started posting stuff. I hope you have, but let me know what your status is on that. And we have Judy checking in. Joe, my man. I'm glad you're here. Big Red 67, Robin checking in. Judy Huff just picked up all my buses from Bluebird Body Shop. Cool. I remember weren't you the one, you had like movie cars and stuff? I think we talked about that. Refresh me if I'm wrong. Denny, hey Barry, Denny from Paducah, checking in. Glad you're here. Travis, hey Barry, just your last stream had very little issues, so happy. Yeah, well, I talked about that in that stream. What I did, first thing I did is I shut off my desktop computer. So that's one thing I could control. That was shut off. The other thing was, just so happened my wife wasn't home, and she sometimes streams stuff, music and all kinds of stuff, and it may have affected it. So I did mention that to her. Hopefully that doesn't cause any issues, but I just mentioned that. So I also took my regular cell phone and turned it on to turn the Wi-Fi off. So just trying to eliminate some of the draw, and hopefully it works. We'll see how it goes today. Brian, okay, thanks, Barry. Box perimeter tells me all. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, when you really think about how these cars are built, the floor pans are just tin. I mean, they're just tin work. The frame rails, they're really kind of out in space when it comes down to it. They're attached to the firewall, and that's about it. And then you have the floor support. Well, why do they call it a floor support? Well, it's not supporting the frame rail; it's supporting the floor. So, the floor itself is just kind of floating around in there. I mean, when it comes down, I'm just saying, I don't have any issue with cutting out all that stuff in the middle. Ron, hey Barry, checking in from Northeast Tennessee, or Ronald. I don't know if you want to Ronald or Ron. Judy, oh, you're right. All the movie cars. I just got a new one a week ago. Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby, movie Rick's car. See there, it switched over to Wi-Fi. It switched over to Wi-Fi. I'm hoping it's still working. Yeah, I'm hoping it's still working. So I'm guessing you're trying to say Ricky Bobby's car. Ricky Bobby's car. Okay. No, not yet. Gotta get speed on this video. Res format started. I have 3 videos done. No trademarks / nature yet. Okay. How about idiot checking in? Glad you're here. Judy says I get that mixed up. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I knew where you were going with that. Robert, there's little more than good intention holding the body to the front frame rails unless it's convertible or has torque boxes. Very true. That's a very accurate description of the whole front of the car. When it comes down to it, there's really, if you sit back and look at what's really holding everything together, the firewall. The firewall. The firewall is supporting the front. And all that stuff is just tied together with all kinds of spot welds. But there's no, there's really not that much. Judy, well, like Ricky Bobby, it's time to go fast. See ya. Okay. Well, I'm glad you checked in anyway. Again, I hope the stream is working. I see it says it's on Wi-Fi, and I'm hoping it's working. So if it's not, I don't know what to tell you. Dawn, my frame rail moved quite a bit when I cut out the toe boards because the cowl was out and the floor is rusted Swiss cheese. Yeah. Yeah, but everything, supported perimeter-wise on a cart, it's good. Charles, let's see. I can see already I'm lagging. I can tell. Charles from Hot and Cold Florida, give Barry a thumbs up. Yes, by all means. Gosh, I hope this thing is continuing to work right. I really do. So I don't know what else. I have Wi-Fi completely disabled on this laptop. Let me check something. Yeah, it's completely disabled. Still. Okay. When I see 2 bars on the Wi-Fi. Anyway, so let me just tell you what's going on with the with Jade. I don't know if you probably can't see it very well. Let me see if I can pull this off. You probably can't see it. But anyway, I've got the emblems on this side. Went in perfect. Had no issues with it. I did post that video with the heater control. Got that in, that in place. The next video that I'm going to work on or put out will probably be the headliner. I think. So I think that'll be a good video. I have made a decision. I'm 99.9% now on the. I was on the fence about getting new vent windows and new quarter glass or quarter frames. I'm not going to do it. I am not going to do it. I can't justify the cost. The quarter windows are like, I don't know, $500 a piece or something. Just not going to do it. And then I watched a video where I don't know, Auto Restomod or somebody had put in windows. They used new frames and salvaged what they could of the old stuff. And he was like having to bend that thing in a vise to try to get it to fit in the car. That really didn't make me feel good. So I know that these fit, even though I'm going to take them back out. I will take them back out because I need to do the gaskets. There's a little gasket at the front there. There's a gasket on the edge. And then the window channel fuzzy. I'm going to replace all that stuff, clean them up as best I can, and drive on. Drive on. That's the new thing. Drive on. Well, not new thing. I've said that quite a bit. That's a military expression. Drive on. And that's a good segue. Do you like the way I did that? That's a good segue. If you follow me on Facebook, I just posted a link earlier today from Tim. I have a new t-shirt out, and Grease Rookie Andrew designed me a shirt. So it is now on Teespring. So if you're interested, it actually says Drive On, Joe Daddy's Garage, and something else. I can't remember what the other part says, but anyway, you can check out that link on Teespring. Let me see here, Brian. Okay, I got it. But if I end up sagging, I might need to pay you a visit. Just kidding. Thanks again. Yeah, you'll be good. You'll be good. Don, there are settings that allow YouTube to bypass the Wi-Fi disable. There are settings that allow YouTube to bypass. Really? Well, that's the first I've heard of that. How do I do that? Let me see something here. What settings are you going on? I don't know where to look for that. I don't know where to look for that. I don't know. I don't see anything. Wait a minute. I don't know. I don't see it. Anyway. Thomas. I need to weld up a square hole 9 by 11 inches driver's torque box for a solo so that I use 14 gauge steel patch or 16 gauge Tom Fernando. You have a wait. So you got a hole in the torque box? Is that what you're saying? A square hole, 9 by 11. Well, I know the torque boxes are thicker metal, so I don't even know. 14 gauge seems more reasonable, but I don't know that that's the best choice. Wait a minute, let me see here. Let me go back to Robert. Most of the steel in the cars was 19 gauge ish, So heavy steel can make things more difficult sometimes. Yeah, that's true. But at the torque box, that's some thicker metal. I know that's thicker metal. That's what I would go with. Okay, so Robert says missed the torque box part. The aftermarket ones are 14 gauge. So that's what I was saying. I would think 14 makes more sense. Makes more sense. Don, it's like optimize resolution bandwidth. Okay. Very try clicking wireless symbol by the clock and wireless fixes. Yeah, I know. That's done. If I click on a little airplane, if I click on a little airplane, that's where my symbol is. I've actually the Wi-Fi is completely disabled. It is completely disabled. At least that's what it tells me. Yeah, just completely disabled. So, okay, Brian. Hey guys, I'm still looking for a set of 3-to-1 covers. Any help would be really appreciated. Okay. So, if anybody has any valve covers, Brian, I guess let us know on here. We'll try to make a connection. Let me see where. I don't know where that's under, Dawn. I don't know where that what's that under because I'm looking at things. It doesn't tell me anything. Nope. Nope. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong part, which could be very possible. Anyway, we'll continue to move on. Let's see, Thomas. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Tom. Let's see, Robert. Wait a minute. Okay, Robert. I think since the stream was good the other day and bad now, I'm betting your upload bandwidth isn't enough. Might want to look into trying a T-Mobile internet router for a month and see what happens. Yeah, maybe. If it doesn't work well, you can return it, but if it does, you want to keep it to replace your existing internet. Yeah, that's something to consider. Don, YouTube will try to maximize resolution by enabling Wi-Fi or even cell data. I'll try to find it and email you later. Okay. See, I haven't even looked at that as far as what YouTube does on these settings because I don't know. I don't know what else I can do. Okay. Anyway, so I've been trying to get other things done. I've got the I am going to do the video on the headliner. Get that done. So that probably will come out Friday, I think, tomorrow. I've been trying to do videos on Wednesdays and Fridays, put out stuff. The problem I'm having right now is I'm trying to put the rest of the front end, put in the headlight extensions, headlight buckets, front balance. I still need to buff or clean up the rock guard. But I realized I need to get the headlight buckets in place because there are some runs on those that I need to take care of, and it'll be a lot easier with it mounted to the car. Would you realize? Would you know that I can't find the studs? You know, the studs that go in the headlight bucket that go into the fender. That bucket, I had a container here. It looks like this. This is some really good ice cream, by the way. Blue Bunny. Have you ever heard of it? Tried it? I saved these containers. I saved a couple of them. One of these I saved and I put in bolts and hardware and stuff. And I thought, oh, it's perfect. You know, pretty good size. Can't lose it. So I'm looking for the container that has those bolts and stuff in it. I found the lid. But I can't find the container. I have no idea what happened to the container that had those bolts and hardware, various hardware in it. My only thought is, the only thing that I could come up with, and it's unlikely, is I've got my trash can. It sits partway underneath my heavy steel bench. And it's possible, because I've had this happen one time before. Yeah, I could have had that sitting on that bench, and maybe I was mixing paint or something in the shaker, and maybe it worked its way off the bench and fell into the trash can, and I didn't see it. And I threw some more stuff in there or whatever. That's the only scenario that works in my mind right now. And the only reason I say that is a possibility is because I did the same thing with the controller for my RC truck. The controller was sitting there. Apparently it had fell in the trash. I didn't see it. I threw some more stuff in there, emptied the trash, and then I couldn't find my controller for the RC truck. That's what I'm going with. I'm just gonna have to blame it on paint shaker, knock that other one into the trash can. But it doesn't make sense that I normally wouldn't put a bolt of hardware in that area anyway, or a container of hardware. So it was just making me angry today, really frustrated trying to find these pieces and parts. And so anyway, one way or another, I'm going to get the headlight extensions on, even if I have to make my own rods, my own pieces of all thread. I've got some all thread here. I hate to do it, but all it takes is a cut-off wheel, cut out 6 little pieces. Actually, I did find 2. I found 2 of those, and they were in obscure places. One was in one of the parts boxes that I had, one of those, and the other one was in another parts box of stuff that I'd cleaned out of the car, the interior, when I was putting in the kill mat. I'm like, how do I lose this? There's no way. There's no way that whole container. Now, it wasn't full of stuff. I mean, I only had a little bit in it. But the point being, how does it disappear? Dawn says, yeah, you need some help with YouTube settings too. Yep. Yeah, I know there's a way you can change the resolution, but I think I have this on the lower setting for that. Travis, I use a fishing tackle box for my bolts and stuff. You can sort them for where the bolts go on the car. That's a good idea. I'll give you a bell for that. Whoops, hold on. Wait a minute. Come on, bell. Not the best. There we go. We'll go with that. That is a great idea, actually. Yeah, a tackle box. Because then you can just label the box. You can label each one of the bins. That's a great idea. Now, do you still bag them? Because I could just see if that whole box fell over. Would they mix up? That could be bad. But still, great idea. Hey, we have that's our first Dave sighting. Late. But Dave is here. We have a Dave. We're good. Crash Ride, I'm telling you, Iron Man is playing with your stuff. Yeah, he must be. I don't know. I don't get it. It's just frustrating. And the bigger problem is, of course, that I've been dragging this one out for so long. I started on this 8 years ago. 8 years ago. So anyway, I can't say that I'm missing much, but it's just a matter of where did I put it, and then trying to find it. Which I also will say, I placed 2 more orders today. I placed 1 order from NPD for a variety of things. And here's the thing. I actually went to NPD, and then I pulled up CJ Pony, and I started putting the same things in each search, right? And I actually finished out the full order for NPD to take a look at it. And then I started the list for CJ Pony. And so I was putting, just finding those parts and putting them in a list. I was surprised. That NPD was actually cheaper. It was actually cheaper than CJ Pony. I know that, they're going to compete with each other, but a lot of people said NPD is usually more expensive. Now, it was only a few bucks per item, but the point being, when you add up all those items, that's a big difference. So I didn't even order anything from CJ. It didn't make any sense. But I will say I also went to Kentucky Mustang because NPD, I need the drip rail trim, right? I need that trim for the drip rail. NPD didn't have it. And then CJ, when I went to theirs, I looked at their reviews on the trim that they sell. They were terrible. There was like one positive review on that whole thing. Like one guy gave 5 stars and everybody else was, these are terrible, don't order these. So I went to Kentucky Mustang and I looked at theirs, and the drip rail molding that they sell, the trim, it's marketed through Dynacorn. Now, did they actually make it? I don't know. But I ordered it through them, and it was, I think, cheaper than NPD. Along with, I ordered new wiper arms, blades, some windshield trim, and again, the pricing actually the pricing on another item was good. I looked at NPD for the door sill, the threshold or door sill trim piece. I actually have like 6 of those pieces that came with this car, and they're all messed up. Every one of them is messed up. So I ordered a new set. Well, if you order them from NPD, they sell you individual or one at a time, and then you have to buy the little sticker or whatever that goes in the middle. It just says a Ford logo or whatever. So their pricing was, I think, altogether $79 or more dollars, maybe $80, something like that. And Kentucky Mustang would sell you a package kit. So you get both of those, all 4 pieces, and it was like $76, which I thought was great. Why not? So because I was already ordering from Kentucky, I went ahead and added that to that list and pulled them off of my NPD list, even though I still got free shipping from NPD. Because, after a certain dollar figure, it's free, whatever. And then Kentucky Mustang, their dollar figure is a lot lower. If you're going to order something, you don't have to spend $300. If you spend $50, I think it is, or more, I think their discount kicks in, or their free shipping. So anyway, that's what I've done. As I ordered between the two, and I just bypassed CJ Pony. Another thing I want to point out, I talked about, you probably have seen that box. I don't know where I pushed it. That box, I got that chrome, well, it's aluminum trim piece for the grill, the surround piece, some information on that. I didn't realize this. So I think we talked about it on Monday. The part numbers are 8191-1A, and then there's another one, it's 8191-1B. I thought 1A and 1B meant left and right when I ordered them. Well, as it turns out, 8191-1A, I think, is their premium panel, and -1B is the lesser, not quite as good, let's say. The difference between the two is about $20. Well, I didn't pay any attention. When I ordered them, I thought, well, maybe they're just charging more for the other one for some reason. So I got an email from NPD that says, could you review your products that you've ordered? And I thought, well, let me email this guy back. So I emailed him back, and I told him what was going on. Again, thinking that there was a 1A and 1B were the opposite sides, which kind of in my mind makes sense. Somebody commented on Monday that 8191-1A or -1B is the passenger side. So 8191 is the driver's side, 8190 is the passenger side. Okay. So I commented to him and I said, I think I made a mistake or whatever. And he said, well, let me do this. He said, what are the issues? And I said, well, the first one that I got The 1B version, which is the cheaper one, the tabs are slightly bent down for some reason. Don't know why. I can fix that. The 1A version, the box that it came in was mangled and it deformed the shape of it just a little. So in doing some research and talking to somebody else on here, James Smothers, I think, whenever he was commenting, he had ordered 8190-1A, which is the good version for the passenger side. It's on national back order. So what am I going to do? The guy said he would just send me a replacement. He would just send me whichever one I wanted. Well, as I'm looking at it, I'm going, wait a minute, you don't have the 1A in stock, the 901A. The only one you have is the 901B, so just send me that one. I'm not worried about it. And the reality is, the two, when you put them side by side, I'll just grab them just to show you. When you put them side by side, they don't look that much. I mean, I can't see much of a difference, to be totally honest. And I may talk about this because I mentioned to them that I'm going to be showing these, doing a video on some of this stuff. But this is the good model, or the good one, right? So if I take this out of the package, it's shiny, it's pretty. It was slightly deformed. It was pushed in a little that way. The tabs are straight, all that sort of thing. Comes with a kit bag for assembly. So there's that one. This is the one, 8191-1B. Oh, I'm sorry, I got them backwards. 1A and 1B. 1A is the more generic version. Okay. I think. I don't know anymore. But let me just tell you, I can't see much of a difference between these two. The only thing I know is wrong are these are bent. These should be flat. Otherwise, I mean, I think the parts, honestly, if you put these side by side, can you really see a difference? The only difference I see is this shape right here is a little, sticks out more on that one. But otherwise, these things, the back side of this one is shinier than this one. Just a little, a little more reflective. I can't see enough of a difference to justify the price, yeah, grill opening, left hand. But anyway, if you look up the numbers on there, you'll see the difference in pricing. The high dollar one is like $40 some for one of these. The other one is like 20, like $20. So whichever way I word it, just know there's a difference between the two. Don't quote me on the exact part numbers because I don't know. I mean, really, once you get all these in, because this is the this goes to the back anyway, right? Yeah, pretty sure that goes to the back. These tabs you straighten them out. Nobody can see them anyway. But think about it. So anyway, NPD, what they did, the guy contacted me. He was on the ball and he said, I'll get it sent to you myself. I emailed him pictures of the crush box. And he said, it's in the mail. I got an email later that day. Boom. He sent it out. So it's good to go. Let's see. Travis, one box for each car. The track box. One box for each car. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Travis, section is front, rear, etc. I bag the bolts and put them in the bottom. Yeah. That's a good idea. It really is. I hadn't really thought about that before, but that makes a lot of sense. Brian, I'm a terrible organizer, so I put all my fasteners back in the holes they came out of. That is what I normally do. Normally, that is my mode of operation. When I take stuff apart, I do that all the time. That's how we did it at my dad's junkyard. We take something apart, put the bolts there. We know they're there. The difficulty is, in my case, like these extensions, because I put them on the car when I painted, I didn't have them actually bolted in like they would have been. I had spacing. So I used all thread to make them stick out so that they didn't get, weren't painted to each other. So that's why I didn't have that hardware in there. But otherwise, that's what I normally do, is put stuff back in the hole that it came from, and that makes perfect sense. I'll give you a bell for that. We have factory Steve. Horrible. I'm in that part. I need to remember this chat. Come on. What was it? Black or do they sell them in aluminum? It's just aluminum. So I get you good powder. I don't see why not. But yeah, they're just aluminum. I have a pair here. Well, I do have a pair, but I don't know if I'm going to be using those or not on another car. No, not yet. I haven't done a comparison to original. I have 2 original pieces that are in poor condition overall, but I have not done a test fit. They look pretty close to what I have. Robert, the A parts are their best fit, then B, and so on. But I bet a lot are like that, and really not a big deal. Well, the thing is, too, with these parts, I just tell you, these things, it's aluminum. So you can manipulate this stuff. You just gotta be careful, can't go too far. But aluminum it just bends. There's nothing to it. You got it really easy. So you're saying A is the best part? Okay, so this one is technically the B then. The one that I thought was better. I haven't even looked. I haven't looked, honestly. Now I can tell you. But this is the B. The B piece, to me, looks better than the A piece. But either way. So the guy at MPD, he contacted me. He's got another shipment coming. Kentucky Mustang, they already emailed me and said they have a shipment sent out as well, and they're lacking. Can't remember what it was. One of the wiper arms or something. So they said once they get that, they'll send it out too. But I'm looking forward to getting those pieces. Again, I talked about it, about whether I was going to reuse or use the core glass and the frames. I'm not buying new ones. I'm not taking a chance on these things not fitting right. I know these factory ones will fit. I'll clean them up as best I can, reseal the back window stuff, and just leave them. It's just not worth it. Now, I will have to, I've already shot a video on putting in the glass. I did shoot a video, but I'm going to have to reshoot that. The one that I made, it's okay, but I did some things that you probably wouldn't normally do, and it may confuse people. So I probably won't show that video. I may take what I have and re-edit some new footage into that so that it makes more sense. But I have to wait for the seal stuff to get here so I can put all that in and make that happen. Still have to put in the glass. I did order some sealant. I looked for the bedding material that they used on one of the videos. I couldn't find that, so I just I skipped over that part. I'll just put them in and put some sealant around the gasket and around the glass. I think it'll be fine. Again, I don't plan to take this car out and drive it in a hurricane. So, okay, so now Robert says, ignore the A and B. I had that backwards. Well, yeah, you would think that the A would be better, but so you're saying the A part's okay, so the B part is better. Yeah, do your research before buying anyway. True. Very true. Do that research. Okay, so along with trying to get the front together, I have been putting in more kill mat. Now, what I normally do, I'll put in 3 or more pieces of kill mat, and then I can't stay anymore. I probably mentioned before, I have pretty bad arthritis in my right ankle, and my midfoot and my big toe is all full of arthritis. And because of that, and some injuries that I sustained many years ago, I can't flex my ankle and stuff. So I get in there and I'm trying to stay kneeled down and work on something, and things just kind of seize and lock up and get very painful. So I get in there and I put in a few pieces of kill mat, come back out, do something else for a little while, go back. But I do have the kill mat running up the wheelhouse on the passenger side. Most of that is done. I still have to put in that panel. I have the block off panel that's going to go in, and then I can continue on running the kill mat up on that panel. One thing I've noticed, not that it was a big deal, but the kill mat is designed to be either a square or a rectangle, whatever piece. You cut that. You don't. There's really no. Like if you were putting stuff like in the middle of the floor, that'd be fantastic. But we all know there's transitions, there's the seat riser, drop offs, transmission tunnel, all the stuff in the back. So just know if you're putting in that kill mat, you're going to have to put in some relief cuts or even cut out some wedges so that when you go into a curve, you can push the thing together. For the most part, though, you take a roller and you run that roller over stuff, and you can flatten it out pretty good. My concern is if you have, a doubled up piece or something bound, it's going to cause problems with the seat, or maybe make the carpet sit weird. I don't know. So what I've been doing is I'm trying to butt all the pieces together, and then you end up with triangles and stuff, spaces. So you just got to cut a piece and kind of push it in. One of the nice things about it, though, that kill mat, because it's so relatively soft, and the foil and everything, you can push it into a space and run your finger on the perimeter wherever you want to cut, and it'll leave a nice easy C line. So you can cut off that excess and just kind of push it back in. That's what I've been doing, and it's worked really well, and it's doing a good job covering up and filling in all the floor. Rick Stevenson is here. Glad you're here. Don, that's here. L butyl can be pumped into the gasket gaps and will seal it permanently. Oregon proof. That's saying something. That's saying something right there. If it's Oregon proof, that's good stuff. Thanks to Rick. 1820 coffee. Since you're here. So, I did run into an issue with the door seals. This is one of the things that is confusing me right now. I put in the driver's side door seal, fit beautiful, nothing rubbed, door shuts fantastic. I put in the passenger side door seal, and same seal. It's a Daniel Carpenter or whatever, which I love his products, and shut the door, and it took a little more effort to shut the door. And then I look, and I can see daylight through the front edge. That makes no sense. We're talking the original door, the original fender, no modified openings, A pillar, B pillar, all that stuff is where it should be. The gaps are all good. If the door was positioned, aft on the car, and it created it because the gap's at the front. So if the door was positioned aft and had a super tight gap, that's one thing. But I can't move the door. I've already built everything to match. So if I move the door forward, I'd have to move it forward, honestly, like 3/16 of an inch. I would have a gap big enough to put my finger in for that door to fit the seal, for it to touch. And then, of course, you relate that to the fender. Well, what do? You can't move the fender 3/16 of an inch forward. Well, then you got to move the hood 3/16. Then you got to move the other fender 3/16, and pretty soon you're all over the place. So I'm leaving the door where it's at. But I've been thinking about some ideas as to how to make this seal work with what I have. I'm not going to take the seal back out because it's glued in. What I am thinking, though, and I'm going to have to try to figure out a way to maybe put some baby powder or something on the perimeter so that I can shut it and just see where it is making contact. And I have not stretched the seal either. There's no like thin spots. But what I was thinking I might do is cut the seal so you have, the thickness of the seal. I'm thinking about cutting it right in the center, as far, wherever I need to, and stretching that apart and putting in a filler piece. It could be another seal. It could be something, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But I'm really thinking about just spreading that seal apart and putting something in the gap, and then putting some silicone or something on there to keep it from falling out or whatever. I don't think you get the idea. But that way I could stretch that seal and make it fatter in that area without having to modify anything. So if anybody's done something like that, let me know. But it seems to be a simple idea that comes to my mind. I'm always trying to kind of come up with different ways to fix things. Okay, yeah. Arthur checking in. Glad you're here. Robert, don't be afraid of cutting or tearing the aluminum layer of the mat. Just make it go where you want and push it as hard as it is a pressure-sensitive adhesive. Yeah, that stuff. I've been going over it with the roller, because you can press it in with your hand. I think it's fine, honestly. But adding the roller onto it on the kill mat will definitely help it bond more to the panel or the floor. And so, I'm going to do I don't know if I want to put any into the quarter area, like behind the quarter glass. I don't know that I want to go that far, or in the doors. I think if I had, like Robert put on a new door skin on his car, I think if I had done something like that, then I would have been more comfortable putting in the kill mat inside the door. The problem I have right now is I never did anything to the inside of the doors. They are still sprayed with the factory goop that they put in there, whatever it was. And so that kill mat won't stick to it. I know it won't stick to it. So I'm not even going to bother messing with that stuff. But the rest of the car, like some floor pan, wheel houses, that panel between the seats, I'm going to put all that on there, and I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. Okay. Travis, just glue it and weld it shut. Make your passenger door make your passenger enter Dukes of Hazzard style. Yeah. Dawn, there are a lot of caddies running around with the strips of inner tube behind the weather strips. My fix for new cars with wind noise. Use the paper drag method for checking seal integrity. Oh, that's a good idea. Strips of inner tube. I'll go with that. Hadn't really thought about that. That's a good material to use. I'm going to investigate a little bit, but that is a good idea. I hadn't really thought of that. Good answer, Don. I'll give you another bell. You get 2 bells. So anyway, I'll address that one way or another. It could be. It could even be. It's a pretty good gap. a thought came to my mind was maybe some like, for lack of a better term, rope, like a thin, like a maybe quarter-inch diameter rope, and I could slice it, put that rope in there, and then put silicone on top of it so that it keeps the rope inside the cut. That was one of my ideas. Another idea was to find some more, another seal that I don't need, and cut out strips of that seal and wedge them into that cutout. So just some thoughts, right off the cuff. Robert says small diameter foam backer rod. I don't even know what that is. That sounds like a Craft Supply thing. Foam backer rod. I don't know what that is, but I'll give you a bell because, you know, why not? So I'll look that up or look something up along those lines. Oh, okay, so silicone tubing. Travis, you could try that foam weather strip for home doors. Yeah, that could work. That's what I used. That's not a bad idea either. I'll give you a bell too. Whoops. I used that weather strip on my Model A. Of course, there was no weather strips in a 1931 Model A anyway. But those cars, the doors, they don't sit flush. They overlap each other, which is terrible when it comes down to it. If you're looking for a car that, you know, has no aerodynamic advantage or whatever, Model A is the way to go, because I think 32 they ended up realizing, hey, they can make these doors fit flush. And 28 to 31 they overlapped. So what I did is I added some of that like quarter-inch thick foam from the hardware store, from Lowe's, whatever. Put that on the edge of the door. Now I can actually not slam the door, but I can push the door shut without worrying about it impacting. And it's really keeps it quiet. At least there's no rattle. Let's just put it that way. Robert, backer rod is stuff you put in between concrete before caulking. Okay. So you're Home Depot, Lowe's, or something like that. Don says, good idea. Dave, backer rod is a foam type rope used in masonry. Okay. Yeah, I'm guessing. I'm guessing that would be. I mean, they should sell it at Lowe's or whatever, I guess. Robert, when you put silicone tubing, as it will compress easy enough, but will still have enough spring to push out. Okay, so not the backer rod. You're talking about silicone tubing, like actual tubing. Okay, actual tubing. I get it. Dawn would have to be closed cell foam. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah, Robert says surgical tubing. Yeah, I get that. No, I get it. You know, my mind, when I'm thinking silicone, I'm thinking like silicone, not tubing. That makes sense. That makes sense. That's a good idea too. All kinds of good ideas. See, that's why we're here. That's why we need to talk about this stuff. Get these ideas out and get people to go, oh, think outside the box a little bit, see what happens. Yeah. Oh, I will point out too, the headliner video. I'm going to actually, well, I'll do that video, but I'm going to have to add some footage to it, because what I found was I had stretched that thing, put the pinch weld on, pinch weld molding and windlace on, and went away from it. You know, and I knew it had wrinkles in it. It had little wrinkles. And I actually took a heat gun and I tried to heat them up and see if they would shrink the material. Well, the product, the headliner, is from TMI, which is good stuff, but it didn't show any any shrinkage. Like, it just didn't. So what I did, and I thought, well, I've got to do something, because I can't stand this having those little bit of wrinkles in it. I pulled the windlace back down, and after letting it sit for a week, I got it loose again, just in the forward two sections, I think. not the very front section. It was good. The second and third section. I repulled it, set it back in place, and put the windlace back on. The wrinkles are gone. It looks fantastic. So just know, everybody gets concerned about these headliners. Like, well, you put it in, then what? Something goes wrong. Well, it's really just contact cement that holds it in, and the windlace. So I mean, it was glued, it was holding solid, but it was just not tight enough. Like I said, I took it loose and I worked it out and re-put the windlace, and it looks great. So consider that as well. Dave, box stores have half-inch back row automation supply of different numbers. Okay. That's good to know. All right. What else was there? Okay, so I ordered parts from MPD and advisors, chrome, advisors, gutters. There's a bunch of stuff coming. I still have to order the radio though, and I'm probably going to go back to Crutchfield. They had a better price, so I'm going to order one of their radios and a set of speakers, 6x9 speakers. I really don't. I mean, they don't need to be 200 watt, blah blah blah. I hardly even have the radio on for the most part, but I'm going to still put some speakers in there. Oh, that's the other thing. I didn't think about this. I probably should research this a little bit more. What do they use, or what have you seen used for the package shelf to cover it? I really didn't think about that till just now, because I know I got to cut holes for the speakers. It's just press board, and that's it. And if I remember correctly, they would have had some sort of like a fabric material or something that covered that. Of course, the standby is thin shag carpet, right? That's the cool stuff. Is you put a little layer of shag carpet on top of that thing. But I have not. I didn't look that up earlier to see if they sell something that goes on there, or if I just need to go to a fabric store. I may just have to go to the fabric store, pick something off the shelf, because that's what I did for like Speed Buggy, the dune buggy that I built. I had put in some vinyl, and I just bought a few yards of it, and I recovered I made a back seat for it and covered it, and also side panels. So that's probably what I need to do, is just get some of that stuff. Dawn's Manufactory posting as the new me. So that's going to be Dawn's channel when he gets his content up. So check that out. Brian, I did a video on speaker install in a package tray, no cutting. Use speaker grill material from the fabric store. Okay, I did a video on speaker install in a package tray. Okay, well, what I have, just to show you, the piece that I ordered. This is what I have. So I did trace out the holes on the backside, but I'm going to have to cover this with something, and it's going to have holes. So anyway, that's what I'm dealing with. The thing fits great, but I'll have to maybe check out what you've done, Brian. Dawn, I use acoustic transparent cloth caddies use on their package shelf. Okay, so that could be interesting. Phil, please don't do shag. Yeah. You need that, not the tall shag, the short shag. That's what was in this car when I took it apart. Robert, got any interior suppliers there? There's one here that has a really good selection of factory seat fabric. I don't, but we have like a, what is it? Jan's Crafts and Fabrics or something, or some sort of fabric store, and that's where I got the vinyl for my speed buggy. Brian, yep, I covered that. Just drill holes in your trace. Oh, okay. So what you're saying is don't even show the speakers. Like when I took this apart, there were speaker covers up on top. So I thought I was just going to do is make a hole and, use the speaker covers. But you're saying just mount the speakers, forget about the covers, drill holes in that, and then cover it. That makes sense. I know that in the growing up in the 70s and 80s, it was always, you had to have your speakers showing, right? You had to have them sitting up in the back window. Brian, I plan to use a material like used on home stereo speakers for my package tray. That's a good idea. Brian, I usually use headliners that I misplaced for the package tray material. Okay, that's a good idea. I don't have one that I misplaced though, or maybe I do. You're right. That's a good answer because I don't know where that package tray is, or being the headliner kit that I have. I don't know where the headliner kit is. That's a great idea though. I could just sacrifice that. Brian, like multiple holes with maybe a 5/8" drill bit. Yeah, that could be. I get that. That's a good idea. Then paint the tray black. Yep. Perforate it. Yep. Mason's eating some ice cream from Dairy Queen. That sounds great. Bring me a peanut butter parfait. Robert, yep, just like the animal speakers, heard but not seen. Yeah, that's a good idea. That would make it cleaner. I wouldn't have to buy speakers that had covers either. I could just buy speakers. I don't know what kind of speakers I'm putting in yet. I've got some, gosh, I don't know what these ones are there's some in the panels that I have these kits. These are filthy, but they're still okay. These are actually infinity speakers that goes in the kick panel. So I think these are still okay. I hope. I don't see any damage, but anyway, infinity is what's going up front. In the back, I don't know. I don't know yet. But I'm going to order a radio from Crutchfield. They sell one that is like, they have variations of it that it's actually a digital radio, but it looks like a regular radio, and it fits multiple vehicles that are, Fords or whatever. It follows the Ford guideline, but anyway, that's what I'm gonna be using from Crutchfield. Brian, my late father would have killed me if you could see the speakers back there. Stealth is cool. Yeah, I guess it is. I'm thinking, see, my mind is kicking back to the 70s and 80s whenever everybody would have taken a car like this and put speakers up on top. But I guess that makes sense. Robert, I'm out of here. I'm out. Got to put the waterproofing on the walk in the shower, and bummed since the better half wants to skip going to Greece this year. Oh man, that's terrible. Phil, I've used speaker cover material for marine apps. It has a UV rating. That's not a bad idea either. That's not a bad idea either. Don sent me a pic of his package shelf. Okay. Brian, my parts car still had the factory 6x9s in it, but of course they were junk. Yeah, this had 6x9 Kenwoods in it, but they were gone. Crash Rider, I know it isn't Jade. It isn't, but Jade sure is looking blue today. Yeah. It's not blue. Denny, I've seen package trays painted. Turn down pressure on spray gun to give some texture. Well, that's not a bad idea. Brian, 6x9 work really well in existing holes. There's a Murta adapter for a Toyota that will drop your speakers low enough so any protruding tweeters won't poke through. Okay. Well, I'm going to go on to like Crutchfield, like I said, they have a ton of speakers in there. I'll just find some that are not, real tall. That's a great idea. Mason, one of my friends I met has a Pioneer stereo system in there, 1970. Yep. Well, I still have I have an old, where is it? I have a Pioneer Super Tuner up here somewhere that's old school cassette, but it's one that was in one of my Chevy trucks that somebody, well, maybe I did it. Cut the square dash hole. I'm not going to do that to the Mustang. It's going to stay the way it is. All right. This has been good. We put an hour in, shared some good information. I want to thank all the input. Brian, Don, Robert, Dave, everybody, Mason, everybody's been here. Crash Rider. There's a lot to mention here. Denny, Brian. So anyway, I'm going to call it quits. I'll be back on Monday night at 7. But I thank everybody for the input. This has been a good session. This has actually been a pretty good session. And again, if we can share information, help each other out, and make things happen, all the better. So I want to thank you for being here, and I'll see you on Monday. But until then, take care of yourselves. See ya.